Hey guys, I have an email here today from a subscriber, and I asked him if it was okay if I share his question with you so that you guys and other people that you may know might benefit. Hi Daniel, I just watched your video on I'm 31 and never had a girlfriend. I also feel like if I had a girlfriend, I would feel much better about my life. But what really bothers me is that I feel like my entire life runs on chasing validation, and that never gets me anywhere because frankly, I'm a loser. How do I get to the point where I don't need external validation anymore? Al. Hey Al, first of all, you're not alone in this. I personally have a couple friends who feel like having a girlfriend will fix their life, and I'm sorry to hear that you're not where you want to be in life, but I get the sense that you're headed in the right direction. The fact that you're able to identify that you are chasing validation is a strong sign of self-awareness. A lot of people spend their entire lives avoiding this truth rather than in confronting it. So good job. To answer the question though, you said that your strategy isn't getting you anywhere because you're a loser. When we chronically feel unseen or unchosen, our minds turn that pain into a story about our identity. So instead of you saying, I've struggled socially or I haven't had the experiences that I hoped for, you're saying there must be something fundamentally wrong with me, and that's a trauma-informed adaptation. When we don't get the connection we need, our brain tries to make sense of it, and self-blame or blaming others usually is the easiest option. That starts in childhood because when we're emotionally unseen as kids, now as adults, we're in this validation-seeking loop. And that loop goes something like, to believe that you're worthy of love, you need external validation, you need people liking you, choosing you, approving of you. But the people you want to love, you don't. And so then you feel lonely, and then you start getting desperate and anxious. And so then the stakes feel even higher, and then you start performing for that validation instead of just being yourself. And then ironically, that performance pushes people further away in the long run, which reinforces the belief that you're inadequate, and that cycle feeds itself until you're an insecure, anxious person. Okay, so people in this loop are trying to solve a connection injury with the only strategy they were given growing up, which is earning love. So healing means gradually replacing that strategy with self-trust, self-respect, and secure relationships. So first, you have to name the wound without shaming yourself. Validation seeking is totally normal, but extreme validation seeking is an adaptation to emotional neglect or inconsistent care that you had growing up. So when you recognize that this pattern developed in childhood and it's not your fault, you create this small space between the strategies you're using to get your needs met and who you really are fundamentally. So instead of saying, I'm a loser, you should say, my nervous system learned to chase approval because connection felt risky and unstable. Second, you have to outsource your sense of worth less. So instead of letting other people's approval determine your value, you want to transition to more internal reference points. This means evaluating yourself according to your own values instead of other people's reactions. For example, instead of asking, do they like me or does she like me? Ask, do I like the way I'm showing up in this situation? Instead of, did I impress them? Ask, did I act with kindness, honesty, and courage? And as you practice this, your worth starts becoming behavior-based rather than approval-based. Third, you need to build competence and self-respect. So for me, that was facing my fears, and those fears were, I'm afraid of being ordinary. I'm afraid that my suffering doesn't matter to anyone. I'm afraid of being weak. So I went to therapy. I asked friends and family for help. I switched careers to psychology, which aligns more with my values. I started studying psychology, and I networked with people in my school, and I grieved the life that I thought I should have had. So eventually I found a new purpose. I invested in myself and also invested in the people who believed in me. And so what changed wasn't that everybody started validating me, but what changed was that I started respecting the effort I was making. I started experiencing new experiences and giving myself hope by making changes in my life. And so the paradox is when you stop organizing your life around being validated or getting a girl to like you, you become more attractive to others because you're no longer performing, chasing, or being needy. You're being yourself. So having a girlfriend doesn't mean that your life sucks forever. It just means that your path has unfolded differently so far. And people don't begin meaningful relationships until they start building a meaningful relationship with themselves first. So I know it's isolating and it's lonely, but the fact that you reached out and asked this question tells me that part of you still believes that things can change. And I want you to listen to that part of yourself that still believes in yourself. Actually, I have a girlfriend now, and I'm telling you that this would not have fixed my problems. What really made my life better was going to therapy and figuring out my own path first and grieving the childhood I never had. If there's other people out there who have questions, email me at danielyepsych@gmail.com. And please subscribe. It really helps me and the channel and also other viewers out there like you. Thank you so much.